All right. So in the anterior compartment here, you've got tibialis anterior is going to be this really large, prominent muscle. And if you follow it down, you can see it's got a very distinctive tendon on that first metatarsal, kind of overlapping the cuneiform there too, but mostly the first metatarsal. So that's tibialis anterior. And then this muscle next to it, so this big muscle body here, this is going to be extensor digitorum longus. Right? So as you follow it down, it's going to go to 1, 2, 3, 4 tendons. Okay? If you look in between those two, you'll find extensor hallucis longus. So most of the muscles kind of hidden deeply kind of beneath those ones. And as you follow it down, you can see it's got this very distinctive tendon on the front of on the top of the big toe. So that's extensor hallucis longus. As you come around laterally, you can see there's a fifth tendon here. So this belongs to fibularis tertius. So again, it's a deep muscle, so we're not going to see the muscle body of this thing, but you can see the very distinctive tendon. So as long as you remember that there are only 4 tendons coming off of extensor digitorum longus, that fifth one going to that fifth metatarsal has to be fibularis tertius. As you move around to the lateral compartment, you can see the fibularis longus with its tendon, which goes underneath the foot there. And then, see these lines here? So if you imagine lines there, this muscle is going to be fibularis brevis. So if I tag the muscle up here, it's fibularis longus. If I tag the muscle down here, it's fibularis brevis. So the tendon here is fibularis longus going underneath the foot. The tendon here is fibularis brevis. And then again you see tertius over here. And tertius is kind of sitting on top of this muscle, one of these intrinsic muscles. So that's going to be the extensor digitorum brevis. Whereas over here, just next to the big toe, it's going to be the extensor hallucis brevis. So I'm not really going to worry about dorsal interossei in this model. It'll be one of those two muscles. Okay, so that does anterior and lateral. We'll come back and do the nerves in a little bit. So for the posterior compartment, you can see from the side that you can see the bulge is gastrocnemius, and then this kind of column underneath it is the soleus. So that's the calf muscles right there. So if you look at it from the back, you can see the Achilles tendon, which is the common insertion. You can, so this is the medial head. You can remove this. You can remove this. Sweet Canada. No one's seen Toy Story yet? No. This is the plantaris here, and you can see its long skinny tendon running between the gastrocnemius and this thing, which is the soleus. And if you take that off, you see those deeper flexors. So this thing up here is popliteus, and so it's going to be a flexor of the knee. So it's not doing anything to the ankle because it doesn't get anywhere near the ankle. So it's a flexor of the knee, and it just runs across like this. And then these are the 3 slightly more confusing ones. So if you look down here at the ankle, you can see the tibialis anterior tendon, tibia, bone, and then tibialis posterior tendon. Next to it's going to be the flexor digitorum longus tendon, and then the flexor hallucis longus tendon. Right? So it's Tom, Dick, and Harry, TDH. That's what that whole thing is. And then up here, they're a little more confusing. So the really prominent one in medial view is going to be the flexor digitorum longus. That's the one that you would see from the external view. The bulk of the back is flexor hallucis longus, and then this piece up here is tibialis posterior. So tibialis posterior is up here, running down like this. Flexor digitorum longus runs down to the foot, and if you look at the bottom of the foot here, you can see the edge of the plantar fascia, which is going to be that tough connective tissue that sometimes gets irritated on in people. But this muscle is going to be the flexor digitorum brevis, and the tendons are in kind of the same locations as the deeper flexor digitorum longus tendons coming from this guy. You can see flexor hallucis longus up here, and you can see it going down through that tarsal tunnel underneath that flexor retinaculum to this, which is going to be the tendon of the flexor hallucis longus. And then you can see some of these deeper, well, these more intrinsic muscles. So you've got like the abductor hallucis over here. You've got the abductor digiti minimi over here, and that's really the muscles that I'm worried about you knowing. I'm not going to worry about quadratus plantae or the lumbricals or anything on this model, but it's good to know that they're there on those pictures, just in case you see a picture diagram. Okay, that's it for the muscles.